gave you guys a countdown and you didn't know what to do with yourselves. Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We're a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we read all or part of a manga.
I just saw the picture that you chose for Yoko.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really good. That's all.
It was in my my folder of MangaPod assets, and I was like, it's been a while since I busted this out, and I don't feel like putting in any more effort than this. So, if you never joined us for MangaPod before, wait, no, that's not. I jumped so far ahead. So far ahead. We're a weekly podcast where we all get together after we've read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week, we are doing our special Thanksgiving episode, where we do a MangaPodLuck. Every single one of us has selected a one-shot manga and have read it, and we'll be discussing that. So we read 3 manga this week. We read the Hisoka origin story, which Lou picked. We read I Am Currently Living with a Bear, which Dodger picked. And Unlucky Boy, Undead Girl, which is the one that I selected. So I'm Erin of Happily Erin, your host. And with me are, of course, my lovely co-hosts. We'll have you guys just go around and just shout out your name, you know?
Duger.
Lou.
Good job.
Sick, we did it.
Yeah.
Did it.
Let's talk about some manga.
Our special Friday night episode, too. There's a bunch of people in chat being like, what is this? What is
I know. That was all me. Erin and Lou were lovely when I was like, hey, I totally just realized that I'm going to be with family on Tuesday night. Can we push MangaPodLuck? Because there was no way in hell I was going to suggest we skip MangaPodLuck. So, yeah, fortunately they were down to push it to Friday night. So, thank you guys.
Of course. If you guys have never joined us for a manga pod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka summary. We will all read our individual selections, and then we will give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read these mangas or not. That way, if they sound like something you're interested in, you can take your leave once we get to spoiler section. Come back and watch the VOD of this later. There are, again, 3 one-shots, so all very short. Longest one is, I think, 70 pages, something like that. So
They were so quick.
So fast.
Less than an hour to read all 3 of them.
Which is nice. Lou and I were talking, we're nice. Like, it's really refreshing to have something just have 200 pages of reading, and that's it, compared to the 1,000 we usually do.
My daughter was climbing all over me while I read them. I was like, this is great.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
All right, I will read mine first, and then we'll go around. So this is the synopsis for Unlucky Boy, Undead Girl. Eating, sleeping, and being in love. I'm going to say comma for when there's a comma that's not supposed to be there, by the way. Okay. The unusual story, of, a girl and guy who dreams of having a normal life. Those are my... Comma.
Perfect. Is mine next?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is called I Am Currently Living with a Bear. A wife sees her husband in the form of a bear. When they go to the doctor, he tells them that it's stress-related. He will turn back to normal soon. But how can you define normal when your husband looks like a wild animal? A story about love and the hardships of keeping it.
All right, I guess I'm next. So mine is Hisoka no Kako, otherwise known as the Hisoka origin story. The synopsis on Mal says, Hisoka no Kako is a prequel one-shot of Hunter x Hunter, focusing on the character Hisoka, written and illustrated by Sui Ishida, which we'll talk about Sui Ishida a little later.
Yeah. Awesome. So those are the summaries of these. Spoiler-free recommendations. What do you guys think? We can start with mine. Would you guys recommend Unlucky Boy, Undead Girl?
I thought it was pretty cute.
It has some good moments.
Yeah.
That's how I felt too. I was like, this is okay.
This is okay, yeah.
This is okay. If you have, it's 50 pages. If you have like 20 minutes, less than that, Go ahead.
It's really quick. And
Treat
honestly, I
yourself.
actually really liked the art.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're just looking for something really fast, it was all right.
Yeah, I agree. I like the art a lot. I think the art was one of probably of the three, the art in that one was probably my favorite.
I agree.
I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
same.
So, currently living with a bear.
It's hard
Okay.
to talk about currently living with a bear
Yeah.
without being in
I'm gonna
spoiler
say-
section.
I'm just gonna say yes. Read it.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
I would say yes, with the caveat of I think it's an idea that should have been it should have been a longer story.
Yeah.
Like this feels like it could be a test chapter for a potential release.
Yeah. That's how it felt to me too. It felt like something that needed a bit more fleshing out. I liked the idea though, so sure.
Yeah. And it's only 30 pages, something like
Yeah,
that.
that one is also super short.
Very short. Hisoka origin story. If you know Hunter x Hunter and are familiar with Hunter x Hunter, I say it's definitely one that you should go and check out. If you're not familiar with Hunter x Hunter, I think it'll mean very little to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you don't know Hunter x Hunter, it's a pointless read.
Yeah.
Yeah. That said, you should totally read Hunter x Hunter.
You should. Agreed.
Yeah. As I was reading it, I was like, man, I love Hunter x Hunter. That's what I was thinking, like, while I was reading it. Sweet. Okay, so those are our spoiler-free recommendations as well as the summaries. If these sound like something you're interested in, go ahead and take your leave. We're going to jump into spoiler section. Countdown, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The
He's-
podluck is
God.
God.
The podluck is gone. Wait, what did you say, Dodger?
Hisoka's God.
I want
also
Hisoka
God.
too. I was saying Hisoka too.
I changed my vote. Hisoka definitely is God.
Hisoka
We'll come
is
back
the
to that
god.
later.
I've only seen the Hunter x Hunter anime. Yeah, then
yeah,
good.
you're good.
You're fine.
The Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime ended, and the manga has not gained that much more since that has ended. Lots of hiatus for it.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Cool.
Cool.
How are we doing this one at a time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start with Aaron's.
Yeah. Unlucky boy, undead girl. Right. What were your guys' expectations before going into this manga?
I thought that I don't know. I didn't expect it to be a. I don't know how to put this. I didn't expect it to be two like unkillable people.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to be, oh, here's a dude who's so unlucky that he fell in love with a zombie girl. That's literally what I thought it was going to be. And it turned out it was, no, this dude is so unlucky that anyone who's even remotely around him just fucking dies. And, like, he's also a super healer? Question mark.
But
Like,
not a zombie?
He will never die from his own unlucky situations. He will live through them all, which is the biggest tragedy of them all, I guess, question mark. And then meets an undead girl who can't die from his tragedies. What a match made in heaven. Like, I didn't expect that was going to be what we were
Yeah, I was the same. I thought it was going to be that, like, there was some weird angst with him falling in love with her because she's a zombie and there being something with that. I did not expect the whole, he's immortal, but not a zombie. But, for story reasons, there's no explanation other than the fact that he just doesn't die. I was like, what? Wait, what?
He's so unlucky.
Yeah. That he
Just let the boy die.
I also expected kind of like the whole rom-com thing.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I'm happy it didn't stick to just a straight rom-com. Like I feel that while there wasn't a lot of substance to the threat that the researcher people posed. You know, they're just like, oh, she's dangerous. She's a danger. You need to be careful. You know, outside of that, there wasn't really a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I was surprised. I was completely caught off guard. I did not expect there to be any action sequences in this thing.
Yeah, the whole ending with him just like drop kicking a dude and stuff. I was like, oh, he can also fight.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be as like shonen protagonist. Well, also Gary Sue, but also just shonen protagonisty. Like the main dude from what is it?
He's Wolverine.
Beelzebub. He didn't like the say that personality.
Shirt on like the third page and was shredded. I was like, what am I reading?
Like, I expected his personality to be way like the opposite of who he was. I expected him not to be like, I didn't think he's gonna be this gruff, like grizzled dude. I expected a lot more angsty, teenage angsty from him, I guess. And I don't know if it's because it was Unlucky Boy or what, and I'm so used to high school manga and anime. But it was nice. I like that his personality was a little bit angrier than I was anticipating.
I can agree with that.
Same.
Yeah, the overall tone was much more different than I expected it to be. And yeah, Lou, I had the same like kind of problems with this isn't getting explained. This isn't getting explained. But like I guess it's a one shot. Like
Yeah.
Like I had those problems with I think all three of these.
Yeah.
Where I was going, oh, we're skipping that. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess when you only have so many pages to work with, you're like, I'm just going to hope that the reader is willing to go along for the ride. So,
Yeah.
The ride was just different than what I thought it would be.
After the researcher, like Lou, like you said, that whole threat was like pretty weak. I totally agree that they're like whole imposing, oh, she's dangerous, but we need to take her. We're an evil research facility. Like, I felt no threat from them. So the fact that they all got electrocuted and literally burned like a crisp, I was like, I don't think that was like fair, but I don't know.
Well, I think it was the only way it could end, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they realized
definitely.
not only was she so sorry. It won't stop.
So classy.
It's my ukulele app telling me to practice my chords.
Oh.
So, you know, I think that was the only way it could end because the researchers took the time to be like, whoa, she's a zombie, but he's a freak too. So then there was this established like, oh, if they live, then they're going to be coming after these two forever.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
I think what really solidified their concerns for the zombie girl was when she started losing her shit, like towards the very end.
Oh yeah.
That's actually, I think, maybe my favorite part of the whole manga was her just like acting like a zombie, right? I was like, oh shit, she's eating people. Hot damn. And then like she like went to eat him and even like for a few minutes afterwards was still attached to his arm.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't really there. And I was like, oh, she's a zombie. She's like a real zombie. Yeah.
Yeah. The part where he wakes up in bed and she's eaten like his whole arm. I was like, okay, this is pretty witty. Like, this is a nice little twist on this whole thing. Having, like, the fact that she isn't acting like a zombie at all, but she falls asleep and her zombie instincts, like, kick in.
She just eats part of his hand. And the whole scene at the end, like, in the middle of the fight, when she's like, I promise I won't eat you anymore. And then immediately after that, like, chomps onto his shoulder.
The scene where she's like crying and full out crying. I was so happy that they made her like ugly cry. Like she did not look pretty while she was crying.
Yep.
And so I'm like, this is kind of what I think a zombie would look like if they were crying. Like just like, ugh.
Yeah, I thought like if they were gonna bring, any kind of character development into it.
Yeah.
I liked that it was her being like, oh, I haven't been close to a human in so long. Like having a really strong emotional response to like, I'm touching a person, Like I thought that was actually really cute. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some like really sweet moments. Like I genuinely was happy that they were gonna be together. Yeah. It made me really happy, especially after learning like how she was isolated and how he was isolated, because the people he'd fall in love with or would be with all died these horrible deaths, which was really fucked up. Like the roller coaster thing, I was like, oh jeez. Like the roller coaster, and he's the only one who survives, so his girlfriend at the time also dies. So seeing like them being together did make me really happy, because it's like, oh, he does deserve to have somebody who doesn't die, because he's so unlucky.
Yeah, and like
they were cute.
I liked that there was no, and again, it's short, but I liked that there was no beating around the bush either. Like she made it really clear that she liked him like really fast. Like he was like, well, everybody that I've ever been with has died a horrible death, so I guess I'm just like not meant to be with anybody. And she was like, me, I won't die.
Yeah.
He's just straight up just like, I won't die, I could be your girlfriend.
She's like obviously smitten with him from the very start. Yeah, so we kind of talked about with the art, that this was the art I thought was the best out of all of them, both in terms of like expressions and character design, but also the action scenes. Which I didn't expect. Like the movement felt really fluid, and really well done. Like the mangaka had obviously studied other fight scenes and things like that. Like it just seemed very natural. And so I thought this was the strongest art that we had. Definitely. I really liked it. Yeah. The most detailed backgrounds too. Like we'll talk about the other ones later, but I thought this was the one that felt like the most complete of a art style. Like the most founded and easy to follow. So.
Yeah. This one definitely felt like out of the three felt the most like somebody sat down and was like, okay, this is the story I want to tell, and tried to do the best job they could with it, and like made a one shot.
Yeah.
So this mangaka for this little one shot also did a spin, he drew the Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth manga, which is a spin-off of Persona 3.
Oh, what?
So that's a thing that happened.
Oh my goodness.
It's only 2 volumes long too. So that's just a fun little fact.
I would like to see a full-length series from this guy. Like, I think it'd be cool to see what he could come up with like an extended amount of time. Because I really enjoyed his characters in the short amount of time that we got to be with them. And that's something with the one-shot that can be really hard, is the characters can feel so easily flat. Where these characters felt very vibrant, even if we didn't get to spend a ton of time with them. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to rate it now, or should we wait till the end and rate all of them?
I'm down to rate them as we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to think. That's the thing. It's like, wait, shoot, what's the number I want to give it?
I'll give this one a 7 because I had a lot of fun reading it. The art was way better than expected. I was caught off guard by the action sequences. The characters were really fun. They were, kind of limited in terms of characterization, but this is only one chapter, so I mean, how much characterization can we really get? They definitely had personality though, and I think that's what made really elevated this read into something that I would recommend. So I think a 7 out of 10 is a pretty accurate score for it.
Yeah, I was gonna do I think a 7.5. For all those reasons, and I also just thoroughly enjoyed what I was reading, even if it didn't blow me away, or I didn't have any strong emotional reactions to anything that happened. I didn't cry or anything like that. But I really enjoyed the chemistry of the two characters. I believed that they would fall in love, and it made me happy that they did. I was impressed with the action scenes. The art really impressed me, and just how vibrant the characters were. I wasn't expecting that, and I thought it was really well done for something that was only 50 pages long. So I think 7.5 about.
Yeah, I was thinking 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. For all the same reasons. Yeah, I was happy that they were together in the end. I found the way that they were able to get together believable. Even though there were big old question marks around a lot of aspects of the story.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the art, and I liked the characters, and I'm happy that they're together. So I can't complain. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say a 7. Just keep it clean.
Awesome. Sweet. So that wraps up Unlucky Boy, Undead Girl. Let's jump into I Am Currently Living with a Bar.
Wow, is this different than I thought it was gonna be?
Totally not what I was expecting. That
What
plot
were you guys
twist.
expecting from this manga?
I was expecting. There was a show that came out a couple years ago. Kumamiko, I think is what it was called. It was about a girl who lives with a bear, and that was the entire anime. And it was
Great.
actual
So you were
sentient
cool,
bear.
manga.
Cool,
Like
a manga. It was a manga adaptation, but I was like, all right, cool. It's basically doing the same thing. It's like Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin, kind of, sort of. That works. That's not what we got. The twist for this manga, it was ridiculous.
I didn't expect as shoujo. For some reason, I expected more slice of life, happy comedy, like 4-panel-esque comedy, kind of like the what's that wife one? Like My Husband's an Otaku or something that. Like that kind of a feel.
I can't understand what my husband is saying.
Yeah. Like that kind of a feeling. Not what we got at all.
That is a really, really good touchstone, because that's exactly what I thought this was going to be like, where it was like, oh man, her husband gets stressed out and transforms into a bear. Yuck, 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 yuck. Like goofs. And yeah, it was not that at all.
No.
Yeah. I didn't
plot twist.
Just to like dive in. Like I didn't expect that it was going to like be at the very least like a good attempt at a mental health story.
Mm-hmm.
And like I the reason that I said during the spoiler free section that I really wished that this was longer or like a more fleshed out thing was because they mentioned like, oh, she got so upset that she didn't know that there was something having to do with her, right? That she thought it was all about him, and that he had led her to believe that, and him saying, no, I've explained to you multiple times that this is like you, you know? And I was like, I want to know more about her and like what it is exactly that she's going through, because we don't know. We just know that she like talks to objects and talks to people and sees everything, sees like some people as animals and some objects as people and like all kinds of stuff like that, right? And we don't know entirely what's going on there, that she's also like doesn't remember these conversations with her husband, and they keep having to move, and at the end I assumed they keep moving because they're trying to seek like different help, like whoever like they move to different places and they can't find someone that can help them, so they move somewhere else. But I just wanted to know more.
Yeah, I wish it hadn't been so like passive. I wish that we had been in the moment of like seeing her interact with like her husband or these other people or like things like that. I don't know how they would have done it without it being like Alice in Wonderland-y, like all of these creatures and objects are talking to me and things like that.
Yeah.
But I wish
there is a framing device for that where like kind of in the beginning of the story, the doctor tells her, oh yeah, this is something that happens to a lot of people and it's normal. It just happened to some people at the office. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so there's that framework for it not being Alice in Wonderland-y, and it's more just kind of, okay, well, there's a narrative reason for it. You know, this is a disease or a sickness that happens in the world, and then you have the twist later on in the story that kind of dispels that, and it's her psychosis that's producing what we've seen.
Yeah, I totally agree. If we had seen more evidence of it and then it was turned around, it would have given us a lot more, I think, instead of like, you know, we suddenly see her husband as just a normal dude and he's like, I have to go find her, right? Oh, and the chocolate thing.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated that the chocolate thing was not. I thought maybe she was seeing her pills as chocolate.
Yeah.
And so he kept being like, you can't have more of those, right? Like you can't have more of that. You need to wait.
Yeah.
And I thought like, oh shit, maybe that's her medication, but she's seeing her medication as candy when it's not. And that wasn't explained why she's like constantly looking for chocolate and stuff. And I guess like, again, I guess like they don't need to explain everything, but I do wish that there was just more.
I think you definitely nailed it in terms of like what that chocolate was supposed to represent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it wasn't like super clear on it.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. I was gonna, I don't want to spoil anything for any other manga or anything, but thinking about in terms of like effective like plot twists, one of the ones that we read last year for MangaPodLuck was much more effective at doing it. And as I remember after I finished reading this one, that was honestly all I could think about, where it was like it felt like it was kind of trying to go for the same emotion that we had in that one. And on this one, instead of like your gut dropping and your head being like, oh my gosh, what? It was just oh, wait, what? Like it was a very like, it just because it wasn't played out as effectively or I think as well done as it could have been.
Yeah, I think it seems like overall the critique that we're giving is if there had been more time leading up to like the reveal, I guess, if there had been more development, if we had seen more of like what she saw the world as being played out as normal, to like give a stronger base and to also like get an idea of what the relationship is even like. Because even at the end, we don't really know, aside from her husband being like, well, I love you. Yeah. And as long as we're together, I'm happy, right? And her being like, well, I love you too, bear, right? Like, she just calls him bear. Like, it's so weird. Like, I still don't understand, like, what kind of people they are.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the beginning part of this manga is kind of just fragmented bits of their life that kind of just flash from one moment to the next. And that's fine for a little bit, like to give us glimpses at different parts of their day. But I feel like before the twist, they should have dedicated at least a few pages to one cohesive story leading to that twist. Like her eventually going to leave and him panicking about it.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it was more a structural issue. And yeah, time could have fixed it, but they also could have like planned it out a little bit better.
It felt a
Yeah.
little like the pacing felt a little haphazard. They're just kind of
sure.
thrown together. Like there was just enough there for me to be like, man, I wish it had been expanded on, because I didn't hate it. I was interested in it. I wanted to see it actually be developed, and so it just felt like it fell short. Especially the like husband, like you could tell that he loved her, and like there was a relationship there, that he genuinely cared about her, and he was seemed to be like more sensitive and things like that. But we just didn't have the opportunity to get to know him or see him interact with her any more than those tiny little bits that we did. So it all kind of felt very face value, not like there was any depth to much.
Yeah.
And the art was okay. It felt very shoujo.
It felt old. Like
Older.
Old shoujo. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't it wasn't exciting. It wasn't really exciting art at all. There wasn't a lot like that could have been exciting. Like it wasn't a ton that happened in the story, so there wasn't a lot that the art could show. But yeah, it just kind of felt like it is what it is.
Like I feel with the bear being so simplistic in its design, I kind of wish there would have been more detail elsewhere.
Style.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like because they don't have to worry about drawing a complex design for the male lead. Which I mean, when we finally get to look at them, you can see, yeah, it's a really thought out design, like traditional shoujo design, but like still complex compared to the bear that occupied like half or more than half of the manga. I think artistically this has no real strengths, and but I don't hate the art either, because I think that there is a place for the conventional shoujo art style.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't want to read it all the time. Like that's my one sticking point. Like I can, it's one chapter, so cool. But if I had to read like several volumes of it, I would probably be very upset with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was all right. There just should have been. We should have had more breathing room in it.
Yeah. And like we said, it was the shortest out of everything that we read. I don't know if there was a reason it was so short, or if that's just what they decided, like if it was forced to, or they just decided to have it be that short. But yeah, I like just didn't have enough time to be super engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you guys have anything else you'd want to bring up for it, or do you want to do our numbers?
I've got a number.
Hit it.
Let's hear it.
I think I would give this a 4.5. The art wasn't my favorite. I just needed more. I wanted better fleshed out characters. I wanted a better fleshed out idea. And I think the number is that low, honestly, because I liked the idea and I was disappointed that it wasn't done better. So, yeah, I think 4.5. It was all right, but
Yeah.
it could have been a lot better.
Yeah, I was gonna do a 4. For the same reasons. I was really disappointed in specifically how the twist played out. I wish I would have gotten a lot more out of that, and that the structure had just been a little bit more engaging and thought out, and I just wish it had been longer, which is like, it's hard to critique one shots when we usually critique like long running series and things like that. But yeah, I wish it just had more breathing room, like Dodger said. The art was fine, wasn't anything crazy good, and I wish we'd gotten to see more of their relationship actually happening instead of just being told this is how their relationship is. So I think a 4 is where I'm at with it.
I am surprised that I'm a little bit more positive on it than you guys. I'm gonna give it a 5.5. Just because while I am disappointed with how the idea was executed, the idea is sound, and I think if more time would have been given to it, it could have really explored. Because there was a line of dialogue where part of the reason why they were moving is people would look at her like she was strange. So I feel like they could have fleshed out that stigma that that society has towards mental illness, like other manga that we've read.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of good that could have been conveyed in this story, and some great ideas that could have been explored, and it just fell short because of the constraints that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the twist. I think it had some good pieces in place, and I still recommend people to read it. You know, it's not much of a time investment, and I mean, going into it with the payoff or with the twist spoiled, I guess would like definitely affect my score.
Yeah.
If I would like, oh yeah, you know, it's not actually a bear, it's mental illness. Like I would have been, my score would have been a lot lower. But for those people that decided, yeah, exactly, and for those people that decided to actually listen to our spoiler warning and go away for an hour and then watch the VOD, like I think they'll have a good time.
Yeah.
So 5.5 for me.
Cool. Awesome. All right, let's talk about Hisoka.
Yes, please.
You mean God?
You mean God? Let's talk about God.
Guys, can I just say, I was so excited because, you know, we've all seen the Hunter x Hunter panels. I was so excited to see a Hunter x Hunter story done in a different art style, perhaps with some more time and care and love put into it. And I was sorely let down.
I was so disappointed. I was just like, did he have less time to do this? I was like, is he inspired by Togashi's like half-assed pages that got put up because Togashi could do whatever the fuck he wants? But I was just what is it?
I think I have an explanation for why. Because like it's not like that this mangaka is incapable. Because like I mentioned that we would talk about Sui Ishida earlier. That's the mangaka for Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
Right.
And clearly a very capable artist.
That's why I was like, this is gonna be
But here's
awesome.
the thing. I don't think he wanted to show up Togashi. I think it was restricting because he was an assistant for Togashi. And if he would have gone and delivered something extremely polished, it would have made Togashi look really bad.
Yeah.
So I think it was more of keeping in step with where Hunter x Hunter is visually for now, and just kind of not over delivering. I kind of expected that. As much as I was hopeful for something different, I think expecting something like mind blowing would have really affected people's perception of Hunter x Hunter. Like, because there are people in the community that say, well, Togashi should, if he's in so much pain, he should hand Hunter over to his assistants and take on like an advisory role, kind of like a Akira Toriyama's done with Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder too if it was something that Ishida never expected to have published. Like if it was something where he like just did it and then Togashi saw it and was like,
showed it to Togashi and Togashi was like, this is pretty cool.
This happened. Canon. Done.
That's what I wondered too.
Yeah.
So I definitely got that feel from it of just like, I just like sketched out this like thing, right?
Yeah.
And Togashi was like, sick. I like it. Print it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ishida was like,
can I redo it? Yeah, that's definitely a feeling I got as I was going through it, where it just didn't feel complete. Because it's like all of it is sketches. There's very little background. There's a lot of white space that happens. And so I think it could be a combination of a lot of those things. Because like something else that I expected, with it being a Hisoka origin story, I expected, to show him, and this is spoilers for Hunter x Hunter. I'll give you 5 seconds. One, I guess I should count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spoilers for Hunter x Hunter. I expected Phantom Troop, like we were gonna see the Phantom Troop as well. I didn't know it was gonna be just the story of him learning Nen and learning what that means and like his bungee gum. I expected to see from that time all the way up until he went to like the Hunter exams. And that was something else I expected to see. Like, I thought the last panel was going to be him at the Hunter exams, seeing Gon for the first time. Like, that's what I was expecting to see. And that's probably a lot that'd be way too much to cover in like just 70 pages. But yeah, I didn't expect it just to be like him learning just Nen and then also some weird Sherlock Holmes plot thing.
I actually expected the opposite.
Oh, really?
I expected to see Hisoka being closer to Gon's age. And maybe hearing this exact story, but being younger. And like showing that same potential.
In this, he's supposed to be what, like 15?
That's what he looks like. I like if we're looking at the other
16-year-old,
yeah, he looks like a teenager.
So we did get a couple bits of foundation that kind of I think were necessary for Hisoka's character later on. So like we've established, him learning Nen at a much earlier pace than everyone else in Hunter x Hunter. Not so much because of his age, but the fact that it was before he entered the Hunter exam, where a lot of the hunters get introduced in it after the fact, and knowing about it earlier is less common. But also the idea that the person that he was training with, or that taught him about Nen, introduced that idea of wanting to be a hunter to him.
Yeah. I kind of like that he's still... I thought maybe this origin story would like
explain why he's a creepy fuck.
Yeah, would get rid of like some of the like mysterious creepiness of him. But no, they were like, he's a teenager, but he's already creepy. And I'm like, cool, I guess he just always was.
Yeah, I thought that too!
Like, I'm glad that we didn't see him like, I'm a normal boy who turns into a creep. He just always was. Literally, they found him on the side of the road all beaten up, and everybody was like, this kid's creepy.
Yes.
Like, literally, like from the get-go.
That's how I felt too. I was like, oh, we're gonna get to see where this personality came from, like his family and things like that. And I was, nope. I expected also a little bit more Hisoka booty. Thought we would get like a Hisoka booty deal. Oh, oops. My computer just made a lovely noise. So how all of you
enjoy
that. Yeah, I was just expecting like the origin of why Hisoka's always naked.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be just like a single
We
story.
got a bath scene.
We did, and that's how he discovered his gum.
His gum.
His gum.
There was one thing that kind of really elevated this whole experience for me, and that's that I recently started rewatching Hunter x Hunter 2011.
Nice.
I pulled out the Blu-ray from my collection, and I'm like, I want to rewatch this. And then my daughter sat down with me, and she's like, let's watch one episode. And then 25 episodes later, we're like, all right, So many hours have passed. You need to go to bed. Our date, that was our whole Saturday. It was great. She's
Aw.
amazing.
I love it.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it was a very, very happy day for me.
Yeah.
Aw, that's cute.
That's so sweet. I will say something that was nice about it is Hisoka is one of the best, like, well-written characters. Not just in Hunter x Hunter, but in a lot of media. He's just very fascinating. And this one shot didn't do him a disservice. Like, it was very obviously Hisoka. It was in character. It didn't make him look weak or weird, like weirder than he is or anything like that.
He's pretty weird.
He's pretty weird. So it didn't do any hindrance to his character. It definitely added, like, even if we didn't necessarily get what we were expecting in terms of story, it was still fun to see a side story and more of Hisoka, and it felt like it was part of the Hunter x Hunter universe. Like, it did feel like part of the way Hunter x Hunter's story is told. It felt that same way. So I would say that as of somebody who, like, he's made, like, a fan, that it was a fan story that became part of the canon, you can see why it was made into part of the canon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like, I love that there were those really obvious moments. Like, I think for all of us, probably, the second that dude was like, well, she's been training this for the last 9 months, and it'll take you at least as long as her.
Yeah.
I think all of us were like, he's probably going to instantly learn this.
Yeah. Those good
Like,
old shonen tropes.
Yeah, those moments were, like, so telegraphed, but I was still like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Totally, like, expected those.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. He's a master already. I didn't see his, like, master being the John Doe. That surprised me.
Yeah.
That surprised me too.
Oh.
That wasn't like, speaking of things that were telegraphed, I didn't think that was telegraphed at all. Like, we didn't see any, like, sinister moments or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I would have expected him to be a victim.
Yeah.
Which would kind of, like, send Hisoka into a rage. Like,
Yeah,
that's what I was expecting.
He, up to that point, seemed so much like a doting father figure who was, like, so proud of him and stuff, right? And they had, like, the whole scene with the girl being like, oh, yeah, well, you know, he did the hunter exam and he failed, and now he just really wants to have a student who can succeed, you know, like that whole thing. And that made me go, oh, man, like, there's gonna be this, even if he doesn't know it, like, there's gonna be this feeling of betrayal that, like, Hisoka is gonna be the person who can succeed, but Hisoka's such a bitch, right? Like, like, I kept thinking those sorts of things, and then when it turned out he was the John Doe, there was almost like a feeling of relief for me, where I was like, oh, thank God, he's not gonna be disappointed that Hisoka is, like, a terrible person.
I'm curious who, like, because I don't remember seeing it. Maybe I glossed over it. I was wondering who was the one person that passed the exam that year.
I thought it was Gon's dad.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that's
who I thought
implying.
it was too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was Ging. Ging? Did I say it? Ging. Ging.
Jing.
Ging. Gosh, it just makes me want to watch Hunter x Hunter again.
You should. 25
I know.
episodes goes like
I
this.
need to
The first
reread it
time
and
I
watch it.
watched the show, I watched 100 episodes in 3 days.
Amazing.
Dude, you
It's
and
really
42
fucking good.
you and 42 Believer both just, like, destroyed that series. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I would just like to rewatch it perpetually because it's so good.
Yeah.
I like on this rewatch, I've got so many different things because I'm watching it dubbed.
Oh.
They're subtle changes and not all for the better.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the way things are phrased, but I don't mind it. Like I'm not hating the experience. So like Yeah, for anyone that is a sub elitist, I just want a different experience with the material.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. What are you guys' number ratings, or do you have anything else you want to touch on?
I don't think there's anything else that I would
No, I'm
want
good.
to mention.
Cool. Yeah, number.
So difficult because I want like the story is so good, but I want better art so bad.
Yeah.
Like it's our opportunity to see young Hisoka, and it's just a sketch that looks like it could just be Hisoka
Yeah.
with like different hair and smaller.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like
I don't know.
the final fight scene with like the poles, like, or the magnets. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, did he get electrocuted?
Not
Oh no,
super clear.
it's the bungee gum. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, trying to think of a number.
I got a number.
Oh, go ahead.
I got a number. All right, so I'm gonna give it a 6.5. But if the art would have been better, it would have been in the 8.5 to 9 range, because I think that it did everything in a way that was consistent with Hisoka's character. It was told in a style that's very similar to the rest of Hunter x Hunter. It felt very much like it fit within the canon.
Yeah.
And I love Hunter x Hunter. So there was a lot of potential here. The art just was really, really set it back. And the thing is, I've seen I've seen scans of the really the pits that Hunter x Hunter has hit at points, and it's really, really bad. This is nowhere near as bad as that, but still, you guys are right. The art should have been at least a little bit more cleaned up. It didn't need to because it was someone else telling or presenting the story. It didn't need to fall in line with what was established before. Again, the whole idea of a different art style taking on that story or carrying on that tone, I think has value. I would love to see this get an OVA though. I would love for Madhouse to say, "Fuck it, let's give it a 1-episode OVA," because we're never gonna make any more of this show because Togashi's backwards and that's sad.
And he's
And-
Togashi. Yeah, it's a match made in hell.
But yeah, so 6.5 should have been an 8.5.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a 6 because I think the art for something like this, it's not just disappointment because we know the subject material, the original material. It's also there's so much action and the action isn't clear.
Yeah.
So even though the story is good, the whole point of a comic medium is that the art facilitates the storytelling and helps with understanding and clarity and the art, right?
Yeah.
And I think definitely in something that has fight scenes, that has this visual representation of your powers, right? We could kind of understand what was going on, but there were so many moments where I was going, okay, I think I get it,
Yeah.
And I thought that was just such a shame. So yeah, I was gonna give it a 6. It's a good story. I just need better art for it. But I agree with Lou. I would give it maybe even a 9 if it had really good art.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Yeah. I echo both of what you guys said. I think I'd give it a 6 as well. Because I really enjoyed the story. I thought from a standpoint of being an addition to the canon of the actual story, despite being fan work, it did a really good job with Hisoka's character. Even if I didn't get to see what I wanted to see, it still was a really great story. The action I think was awesome. That the art had been a little bit like better, it would have just played out even better. So yeah, I think it's a really solid addition to Hunter x Hunter. I just wish that the art had been a lot better than what we got. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6 as well. So that wraps up our discussion. Do we want to rank? Last year we ranked the manga that we read in terms of like
right, we did.
favorite to least favorite. Do we want to do that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine won't make sense with the scores I gave, I don't think. But that's okay.
I want to hear it. You go first.
Yeah.
I think I need a minute.
See, I'm guessing. I'll give mine, but I'm
Okay.
gonna guess. I'm gonna see if I can guess Dodgers. I'm going to guess that it's gonna go bottom up. So
bottom as
I'm
in
currently
least?
I'm no, yeah. So lowest score actually being ranked higher. So I'm guessing it's going to be Currently Living with a Bear first, and then Hisoka origin story, and then least was Unlucky Boy Undead Girl. Was that right? No, not even close. All right, well, let me go ahead and get mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do yours.
All right, so my favorite of the three was the Hisoka story, and then after that was Unlucky Boy Undead Girl. While the story was a lot weaker than the other three, the art really carried it a lot, and I kind of needed that quality of art because if, like, with the other two stories, let's be honest, it just wasn't there. So I needed something like some really interesting visuals to look at, and that story gave it to me. And then the weakest one is I'm Currently Living with a Bear, which while it had some good themes in it, it just lacking everywhere else.
Yeah.
So those are my three. That's my ranking.
Okay, so I think mine is Hisoka origin story, and then Unlucky Boy Undead Girl, and then I'm Currently Living with a Bear.
All right, sweet.
All right. So from favorite to least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's mine too. It's
All right,
Hisoka
so
Unlucky. So I think we're all the three.
3 for 3.
3 for
Yeah.
3. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, if any of these sound like something you guys are interested in, definitely go and check them out. I'm going to read the description for the manga that we are reading on Tuesday, so that way you guys can guess what it is. Yeah. Hold on. I thought I had it pulled up, but I did not. Okay. Blank's just like every other guy in the 22nd century. He just wants a good job, a good car, and a sexy blank to call his own. Until he lands a job, he'll never be able to afford one of his own blanks. Blank's luck changes when he discovers Blank, an adorable but seemingly stupid Blank tied up in a pile of trash. His first Blank turns out to be a lot more responsibility than he expected, and she gets him into quite a few embarrassing situations. It's boy meets girl for the cyber age.
This is a really popular series.
It is by a very, very popular group. That'll give it be a big hit.
What is it, bitches?
Bitches. Members by a mangaka group. So we'll see. Chobits! Yay! Lolo Tokyo got it. We are reading, and Satsuka got it. Sweet. We are reading Chobits next week. Volumes 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 48. It is a very
Chobits in so long.
I've never read it, and I've only seen one episode of the anime. That has pissed my girlfriend off at me a lot because she loves Chobits.
She's super into Chobits. Interesting.
Yes.
I read the first, like, I want to say 3 chapters and was like, this is weird, and then never read it again.
I own all of the manga. I picked it up.
What's going on in your
She knows she can be seen, right? She's not...
Yeah, she knows she can be seen. You know, You should have just stayed.
Your face. Her face as she like dropped was like, I'm so sneaky.
You know, every time you come through the background and you're trying to sneak through, you're entirely visible.
Just make clips.
Oh, there's a whole subreddit dedicated to this. So you'll be on the front page of Reddit a little bit later.
Oh no.
Don't tell her that.
Go ahead and start clipping, guys. It's
Clip
gonna
it.
be great for me.
Don't worry about it. It's not real.
It's not true. Awesome. Yeah, so that is what we're reading next week. Let's go around and shout out our stuff really fast. I'm Erin, Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded basically anything. Anime related life.
Oh, that's great.
Oh goodness.
This is a good manga pod. I love MangaPodLuck. This is the best episode.
MangaPodLuck's always good.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I have not uploaded any videos other than the manga pods because I am currently working on a book. If you would like to check out the Indiegogo for that, there's a link in the chat. You can also look for When the Last Dragon Died on Indiegogo if you want to go and check it out. We are fully funded, which is absolutely amazing. But the campaign, if you still are wanting to like contribute and get a paperback and stuff like that, it goes until December 15th. Otherwise, I'm Erin. I am Happily Erin all across the everything. So come in and check me out. Very active on Twitter. So.
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. You might be watching on my Twitch channel, but you can find me at DexBonus on pretty much everything. I've got a really cute baby that I talk about a lot, and that's about it. That's all I do. Well, let's see. Do I have anything interesting going on? I'm gonna attempt to do Vlogmas. We'll see how that goes. So,
Yay!
I know any of you who used to or miss watching my YouTube channel, shit's gonna go up there for the first time in a year. Holy shit! So watch out for that. But yeah, I stream a lot, and I think you're cool. So you should come hang out. I'm really bad at selling myself. Ta-da!
Ah!
Jajan!
All right, well, my name is Lou, and I'm from a channel that gets content uploaded like every few months. So, like, you know, I would be the most active of the three of us on YouTube.
It's true.
Yeah. But, you know, aside from that, which my YouTube channel is Lou Talks Anime now, my Twitter, which is where I'm actually active and I'm there all the time, is at Lou Talks Anime. So go follow me there. I'll bullshit about anime with you. I decided that as much disdain as I have for watching anime seasonally, I've come to realize that if I don't have a schedule, I won't watch anime. So like the whole idea of like, oh, I'm gonna put on whatever show because I have a ton of shows on my shelf that I can just binge watch whenever. Or there's a whole catalog of amazing shows that I've never seen before. I should totally watch all of them. All of that doesn't happen. That's totally fucked. So I've decided that I'm gonna reactivate my subscriptions and start watching things seasonally. So I tried watching Gridman, didn't go well. Watched Goblin Slayer, it's trash, but I'm still watching it.
Agreed.
And that is my life right now. I'm gonna watch more. I want to watch Bunny Girl Senpai. That's next on the list. But yeah.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I'm sure everyone has said this to you. You should watch That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime.
Yes. Also, I need to watch that. That's on my list. Like,
It's
I don't know. That reminds me of Dragon Quest, and I'm a huge fucking fan of Dragon Quest. I love Dragon Quest. Like,
it has really surprised me.
Hell yeah.
I've heard it's really good.
It's actually really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll give that one a look. Also, you can find her on Twitter at Maria Lamatita. Maria Lamatita. There. You go say hi to her.
Yes.
Yes. Go
She's
tell
mad
her
at me
you
now, and
loved
that's
her.
fine.
So many-
Yeah, we love her. They all love you.
Things, okay? Like,
They all love you.
yes, but I did things that are like important, like help pass federal bills. I don't.
Yes, you've done things in Congress. Congratulations. Now you're on the internet.
Now you're on the internet. Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with us while we do MangaPodLuck. If you'd like more MangaPod, we have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod. The host or the thread for the rest of the schedule through the end of the year is hosted there, as well as a recommendation thread. If there's something you would like us to check out that we haven't yet, go ahead and post it there. If it's already posted, go ahead and upvote it. Otherwise, we will be here same time, same place. Well, not same. Tuesday, not Friday. We'll be here next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time.
I was like, it's same day.
Getting professional. Doing it. Chobits volumes 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 48, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.